about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.
That was Great Sounds of Watts with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made, Mr. Easy BlueZ. Easy BlueZ, you're always great with your introductions. Who do we have with us on the program again today?
Ladies and gentlemen, when you have to understand just how incredible belief can be, when you can suspend reality to those moments where you go, what? Maybe? Could it be possible? Where you blur the line between imagination and pure reality. That is what it truly is magic. It's not in a book written by some lady with the last name of Rowling. It is the everyday basis that is truly magic, when you can captivate that moment. And with us today, I want you to put your hands together, not if you're driving. If you're driving, please keep your hands at 10 and 2, because we don't want you to have any accidents. But mentally, put your hands together for the fantastic, the amazing, the incredible, the stupendous, the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Christopher Langley is with us today. Blessings. Welcome. How are you?
You outdid yourself.
Thank you.
The first time was great. This was really great. Glad to be back on. It's fun. I love it.
Well, one of the things that I super dig is I love magic. I love when you can suspend reality, and you know, I love the both sides of it. Learning about the craft itself, we're learning about the skill set itself, and also being amazed by it. As you're continuing to go down this journey, you just finished up with your IPA tour, which you know, had its highs, had its lows, had its midpoints. That's what reality is. You know, what is it like now going from having the regular aspect of the IPA tour to going back to your Tuesday gigs and whatnot?
Well, I just got to say really quickly, there's a whole bunch of cop cars going by me right now. That intro was so awesome, and it literally killed somebody.
Yes.
So transitioning from the tour back to like normal gig life, I guess you can say it wasn't too difficult, because in between tour shows, I did have regular shows. It's
right.
Just for a while, I got so used to just getting into the habit of having to promote that tour so much.
Right.
It was literally the first thing I would do in the morning. It was the last thing I would do before I would go to bed. And I was consistently trying to find, you know, radio shows, podcasts, TV appearances that I can do, so that way I can get the word out. I was consistently doing promotion for it on, you know, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff. And I mean, it got to the point I got banned from a couple of Facebook pages because I was violating rules, but I was so determined to get people in the seats.
Right.
And did it work with all of them? No. And I will say, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, even though it technically is my job as a magician to sit here and lie to you. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, hey, you know, this tour was the greatest thing I had ever done. And it was flawless, and it was a sellout crowd every single time, because it wasn't. And I'm honestly, I'm writing a book about it, like a short book. And it's basically about the trials and tribulations that go into booking a tour when you're not famous, you know? And I see people out there all the time that are doing, you know, small runs of shows and everything like that, you know, 10, 15 shows at max. And it's like, you know, they've got managers that are doing it, or they've got people that are working for them. I did this thing all by myself, and I booked 54 shows in a matter of March, April, May, June, 5 months.
Right.
Wow.
And there were a lot of things that I messed up on, and I'm not going to lie. Promotion was probably one of them, even though I don't take full blame. A majority of the promotion was on the breweries. They didn't promote. I remember there was one show I did, or I was supposed to do in, well, I'm not really going to say where it was, because I don't want them getting mad at me.
No.
But I did a television appearance on NBC promoting this thing the day before, and not one ticket sold, because the brewery didn't even bother to post once that I was going to be there.
Right.
And, you know, that was the case with a couple of them. There were some where I showed up and there were like 3 people. I drove all the way to like the border of Massachusetts and Vermont for 5 people. They enjoyed the show. I was
Right.
still going to do it. I was already on my way up there. And quite honestly, I wasn't going to turn around halfway through because, oh, look at that. Tickets didn't sell. No, they showed up. Um, with all of that being said, the ones that did advertise, the ones that did promote, the ones that did show the flyers that I had sent them or the graphics that I had posted on Facebook or Instagram that they shared, were basically sellouts.
Right.
We had one brewery in Norwich, Connecticut. No, not Norwich. I'm sorry. Norwalk. Same first name, different last letters. We had to turn people away because so many people were buying at the door that we couldn't fit anymore in. And I was like, holy crap. That's like, I've never done that before. Like I had never sold a show out to the point where we had to tell people, sorry, dude, there's no more room.
Right.
And it ended up happening. And I was like, it gives you like a real high when that happens, because that's the epitome of your work paying off. And it was a good show. You know, I'm not going to say that it wasn't a good show because the audience was in on it. You know, they were laughing, they were clapping, you know, they were mystified. They were scared at some points because I have a couple of tricks in this show that I did where it kind of puts you on edge a little bit. They're like, is he going to get hurt? Are we about to watch somebody like die right now? And I can assure you, I do not die in the show, hence living.
Here for the interview.
But the shows that went well. The shows that didn't could have gone very well if I had gotten the extra help from the places hosting.
Right.
But like now, I mean, I still market as much as I can. I usually take Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and I call people, I email people, I Google like festivals and stuff or events that are going on. And this is outside of the people that already call me for gigs, but it's like now I don't have to worry about, oh, okay, I have to make sure that Poughkeepsie knows that there's a show at a brewery going on, or Baltimore. I have to make sure that I can get in with somebody in Baltimore to get, you know, the word out on the show.
Right.
Because it was kind of hard for places, especially places I had never been to. So.
Right. No, that's one of those things. Is you went on this journey, and I love the fact that you're going to be documenting it in a book, and I can't wait to see that. I was actually going to suggest that before, but you beat me to the punch. I love when that happens. But you know,
I was originally going to do a documentary, but then it clicked on me about 9 shows in. Like, I forgot to start the documentary. So, like, I'm sitting there setting up at like one of the shows, and I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if I filmed all of this. Oh, wait a minute. That was the plan about 4 weeks ago. So I completely forgot to do it.
First of all, thank you for your honesty. Oh, that's incredible.
That was a dummy move on me, I'll tell you.
But it's you know, they say it all the time. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and you had
yes, it is.
Into this, but now it's a little bit of a different medium. You know, not having that particular documentary to go off of, you're able to expand more and talk, and go into a whole different genre itself. Because you're not only writing a memoir type of aspect of it, but it can be used as a guide and or a business book. So that's really, really awesome. And I love how you spun that and are able to take that and turn it into that incredible positive.
Yeah, because I look at it as if like, if somebody reads it, when it's done and they are like, oh, this guy went through what I'm going through, I would not be insulted at all if anybody looked at the book and said, okay, this is a how not to book a tour book. Let me do something different, as long as it helps them. But then again, there's probably going to be people that want to read it just to see what went on, for the enjoyment.
To be honest, I think just by how negative our society is, if you were to title it "How Not to Book a Tour," it probably would sell better.
You're probably right about that. I think that's going to be the title.
Nice. Yes.
I'll give you the credit for it too. I'll give you the first copy.
Yay!
And I'll sign it too. How about that?
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's I always like to document what I do. One, because I just love being in front of a camera. And two, I feel like, it might be helpful to somebody. You never know. I have a documentary on YouTube about a theater tour that I did that actually ended up falling on its face. And there were a couple of people that watched it and reached out to me and gave me pointers and stuff like, hey, you should have done it this way. And, maybe come back to this area during this time of year instead of this particular time of year. So, anything that you do like that, somebody is going to critique you, but not all criticism is negative. I personally, I'm not good at taking criticism because of my upbringing and everything like that. I was always told all my life I was doing things wrong and that it was a bad thing. And then I didn't realize until maybe about 5-10 years ago that, not all criticism is there to make fun of you or put you down. Right. You got to be able to take it and build with it. So, right. I don't mind telling people that I've failed at things. I think it's a very big key to success is knowing that you will fail, because failure is going to happen, whether it's completely or, in parts or the smallest little thing. It's going to happen. It's all about how you figure out how to fix it.
Right.
So,
wow.
But yeah.
You want to know something? Here's another little business tool, business thing for you that I want to give you. Playing cards that actually have some of your incredible sayings on there. Failure is a footprint and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, you know how much those cost to print, though?
Oh, I know. I'm fully aware. Aware. But if you can get the right back and go onto like a GoFundMe or something along those lines, where you can get those things financed, it definitely would be something cool to go about, and something different, and also something that kind of is amazing that no one in your field has thought of before.
I mean, it's true. And I mean, like, I've got custom playing cards with like my insignia on them and everything. One of my hobbies is just like designing them. I never get them printed because, I send them out to a couple of friends and I'm like, hey, what's your approval on this? And sometimes you're like, oh no, this sucks, dude. Don't print that. And I got a couple of cards that I printed anyway that people hate, but I personally like them. But yeah, I mean, I could see doing something like that with like inspirational like things on each card. It's just a matter of finding a company that'll do it for a cheap price, because I like to go through Bicycle, and Bicycle's not cheap, but they're the best brand. They're the highest quality cards that you can get. All of these like higher end cards that you see like at the shelves at Target, they're called Theory 11, or all of like the really nice quality ones you see at Barnes and Noble. Right. They're all made by Bicycle. They all go through the same printing, the processor and everything. That's why they feel so nice. Like these right here, you get these for $2 and they're the same quality as the one you get for $50. So, really? But it's all about, what's on the back of them. It's all about, the design. It's all about who the artist is. But yeah, you could get them done. I've just never really thought about getting one where it's a different thing on every face.
Right.
So,
well, I was even thinking more
take that advice.
A different thing on every back.
Well, I mean, yes, but at the same time, if you have something different on every back, you can't do anything with them.
That's
you can't
true.
perform with them.
Yeah, you can't.
Because at that point they're marked.
Right. No, that is true. That is true. All right. Well to point out the flaw in my logic.
No. Trust me, I've seen people who've got like because marked cards are marked cards. It's something different on every back. They're just harder to spot. But I've seen playing cards that are made where they've got a different design or a different color or something like that. Right. So you're not too far off. Don't think that was a bad idea, because it wasn't.
Right. Appreciate. But now, as you're going forward in different stuff like that, you were talking about you're calling out for festivals and stuff like that. You've actually got 2 festivals coming up around the corner, right?
Yep. And ironically, they're both on the same day at the same time. So I had to kind of negotiate and finagle my schedule so I can do it. But here in Connecticut, they've got what's called the Bethlehem Garlic Festival.
Okay.
And the Bethlehem Fair just ended, so that I went to that. I go there as a patron every year, and it kind of kills me because I see all of these crowds and I never have anything on me, and I know I'm not getting paid to perform. But I reached out to the people that run this garlic festival, and I found out it's at the same place, and I'm like, okay, yeah, might as well see what happens if I reach out and say, hey, I want to perform. And it turns out, he's like, oh my God, I've heard of you. do you want to be on the main stage for like 2 days? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. That's a lot of people. So they've got me doing that. And then around the same time I booked that, I booked another thing. There's an Italian festival going on up in Torrington, which is another really big festival. And they hired me for that. And of course I said yes. And then I looked at my calendar and I'm like, oh no, that's on the same day as this one. So luckily I'm able to finagle it. So in the morning I'll be in Bethlehem, in the evening I'll be in Torrington on that Saturday. And then that Sunday, the 13th, 12th and 13th is when they are. I'll be back at Bethlehem the whole day. So, you know, if you're around, come and see me. But yes, I do that to myself way more than I would like to admit. I overbook myself and then I have to figure out scheduling wise and all that. So
it's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing and a bad thing, because I'm getting all of this notoriety, like I'm getting noticed here and here, but you know, then I think of like, all right, cool, I've got this thing in the morning. Well, what if somebody important shows up at night and I'm not there because I'm at another thing, you know? So I gotta worry about that, because that has happened before. I've lost out on a couple of like really lucrative gigs because right place, wrong time, you know? So
yeah,
I'll be doing close-up magic for those. I'll be doing some shows, and you know, if anybody listening, if you're gonna be there, come and find me. I'm not hard to find. You'll see me in my fedora. I've, you know, this thing has seen better days. Wow. Yeah. Looks like it took a tsunami from Bronson Reed, this damn thing. Wow. I gotta get a new one. But yeah, so you know, if you see me around, come and find me. You know, come up to me, ask me to see something. I'm not hard to find, and I am very approachable. I like it. It gets my energy going, so that way, you know, it makes it fun, because you get tired at these things, you know, because it's hot or it's cold, or it's hot in the morning or cold in the morning and hot in the afternoon. It just drains you, you know.
Yeah.
So people coming up to me and being like, dude, I know you, I've seen you. That kind of gives me like a little boost of adrenaline. I'm like, yeah, let's go. We can do this.
Nice.
Besides your awesome personality, what separates you from the pack?
I don't stop hustling. You will not outwork me. So like, I find other people booking gigs in my area as a challenge.
Nice.
So yeah. And people know that too. Like the whole brewery tour, I was getting magicians calling me and texting me and sending me messages on Facebook going, how are you doing this? Like without a manager? And I'm like, because I don't sleep.
Right.
You know, it's very hard to outwork somebody who does not need to sleep. Granted, I do need a lot of sleep. I just don't have the ability to sleep. So I kind of take advantage of it.
Yeah, because you have a family too, right?
Well, I have a family, but I also have horrible insomnia.
Right.
So when the insomnia kicks in and it's 2 a.m. and you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs, you're like, all right, what am I going to do now? Then you start looking at places and you start copying and pasting emails to all of these, you know, different places that you can market to and possibly work with. So I don't know why here we go. Need a little bit more light. I'm sitting in my car right now. Shut up. There we go. Perfect. Now it's yelling at me because I'm trying to get more light in here. Okay. But yeah, you're not going to outwork me, and I'm more determined than about 90% of the people that I know. And I've really started to like focus my interests and attentions on other forms of media. Like there would be a point where I would sit in bed until 3 o'clock in the morning watching like Hell in a Cell highlights or, prank videos in New York City. But now recently I've noticed I've been focusing more on, marketing lessons and business development. And, I watch a guy who goes around and asks millionaires how they make their money and, if they've ever been broke. And I listen to what they're saying.
Right.
Like I've started investing. I've started, looking at my job as an actual business. So, it's important to consistently be learning because you're dangerous if you have a lot of knowledge.
No, that's 100% true. That is Yeah, that is 100% true, and you become more dangerous the more knowledge in which you can acquire.
Oh yeah, and then the more knowledge you have, combined with the amount of passion that I have, yeah, you can't stop me.
Right. No, that's awesome.
What was the best thing you learned from your audience that made you a better performer?
That's a very good question.
He's got those.
This is one I actually have to think about. I would say don't be afraid to offend people, but that's not a good answer. It's a good answer as far as like, people are going to pay to see you anyway, and they kind of have to expect when you're advertising a 21 and older show that there's going to be things that are maybe inappropriate. And if people get offended, if one person gets offended, it doesn't mean you have to take that entire routine out of your show.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, geez, that's a very good question, man. I'm gonna have to circle back on that one. I'll have to think about that as we go along.
It's all good.
All right, hit me with another really good one, and maybe I'll come up with an answer to the other one as I'm talking about the other good question.
We had comedians on our program before.
Okay.
Is the same type of competition? Do you see like other musicians steal from other musicians and like, oh, that's my trick?
All the
like,
time.
what's going on? Like, is there like a
All the
certain
time.
like ego when it really doesn't need to be an ego within the whole, realm of magic?
To answer this, I don't know if I mentioned it the last time I was on your podcast, but I don't talk to other magicians because of that.
Really?
It's a literal Shark Tank.
Yeah.
So when I interned at a shop in New York City about 10 years ago, that's when I started realizing that magicians are so two-faced, it's not even funny. My buddy Nick and my buddy Nick is the guy that got me the internship with the magic shop. We will literally sit there and just trash talk magicians for hours because we don't like them. That's the best way I could put it. You come out with a trick, and then all of a sudden there's somebody 2 weeks later coming out with their own variation. You come up with a pattern for a trick, and then there's somebody learning their lines. You go to a jam session, which is where basically a bunch of magicians get together and talk about magic and talk about routining and possible show presentation, and then all of a sudden the stuff that you were talking about is being done by another guy.
A little while ago, WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Preston, Easy Blues. My apologies, Chris. Go right ahead.
No, you're good. I didn't realize you had to do that. I completely forgot. That's my fault.
It's my fault too.
But no, it's like you're at a jam session with a whole bunch of other magicians, and it goes from talking about routines and putting things together in different tricks to, oh, that guy's doing what I was just talking about 3 weeks ago at a jam session. He's not even from the state. Right. So it's a dog-eat-dog world. But a question, the question that you had before that is, what's the biggest difference between magicians and comedians? People will not sit in the audience of a comedy show picking apart every little thing on how they do it.
Yeah.
And then proceed to heckle you. Right. I feel really red right now, and it's probably my lighting, and also doesn't help. It's getting dark.
Honestly, you're good from our view.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I get self-conscious about this stuff because I want your show to look as good as it can be.
We appreciate it.
But yeah, at a magic show, there's always going to be one person. Oh, look at that. He just put something in a box. Oh, he just put something in his pocket. Oh, did nobody else see that he's got a string attached to that card? But you're never going to hear somebody at a comedy show going, oh, well, he formatted that joke off of something that Steve Martin said 40 years ago. Or, oh, I know a joke similar, but with a different punchline. He stole that, or how is he figuring out the kind of cadence that he needs to deliver this? They don't. They go there for the performance. They go there for the time. They go there to enjoy themselves. When a magic show, there are literally people that buy tickets to shows just so they can figure out how everything is done.
Now, do you like dealing with those type of people? Because I know comedians, they enjoy dealing with the heckler. And now when you have those, I'm trying to find a proper verbiage for this. When you have those very particular individuals that you sometimes see on the next Tuesday, you enjoy dealing with them?
Oh, yeah. because I've got tricks in my show that I have just in case I run into a situation like that. I'll give you a great example. The last show that I did on my tour was in Thomaston, Connecticut, at a place called Clocktown Brewing, and it's a very nice brewery. They have great beer. It's a really, really like laid back, really just chill environment there. And there was somebody who came to the show, and they had brought a friend who was really kind of skeptical about magic. And he had been saying comments throughout the entire night, or he'd be popping on his phone or something like that during one of my tricks. And I finally noticed it. And I'm like, all right, dude, what's your problem? And he's like, I know what you're doing. And I'm like, all right, cool, come up here. So I brought him up on the stage. I proceeded to do a 10-minute performance with him, with just cards, taking cards in his hand, putting cards in my hand, transferring cards, making things change. While this is going on, he's actively sitting there trying to call me out. So I finally got to the punchline of the trick, or whatever you call it. And I had gotten him. He admitted that I fooled him. And right before he left the stage, I'm like, hold on a second, man. I'm like, I'm not going to call you up here and embarrass you. I'm not going to make you look like a fool. So I got you something. I reached into my pocket. I pulled out his watch, his wallet, and his cell phone and handed it back to him on stage. He came up to me after the show, shook my hand, apologized to me, took a picture with me, and then bought merchandise. He's like, I totally had that coming. I totally deserve that. I'm like, dude. It's not that you were being annoying. It's just I have to make an example out of you, and it's fun. And he's like, dude, I probably would have felt you take my watch, but when did you get my wallet? So, but yeah, I like it because then they open up. Then they're like, you know what? Maybe I should be enjoying this. Maybe this isn't something where I got to be a prick about it. I can go to this show and be like, wow, that was a really awesome show. And maybe I figured something out, but hey, I still had a good time and it was a very good performance. And if everybody was like that, the world would be a better place.
Right. What is the biggest preconceived notion about musicians that's completely false?
Preconceived notion that we're going to steal your watch.
But wait a second, didn't you do that?
Yes, but believe it or not, I'll go up to somebody. I just did a close-up event in Cromwell, Connecticut, at a really, really nice golf course for a bunch of doctors. And I go up to somebody and I'm like, "Hi, my name is Chris. I'm here performing some close-up magic as your evening entertainment." And almost every time, somebody goes, "Still got my watch?" It's usually the first thing they say. And you can thank Now You See Me for that. And in a way, you can kind of thank me for that. But, because I worked on Now You See Me. I was the one who taught Dave Franco how to steal the watch on off the guy's wrist on the boat. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
But that's definitely a stereotype. And then there's always the stereotype of, oh, well, if you're a magician, especially if somebody's hiring me for a private event, they're like, oh, well, do you have a rabbit? Do you have a hat? Do you have a wand? And I'm like, this is not 1865.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. David Blaine has been doing magic in a black t-shirt for 30 years. Like,
wow. Yes, he has. My God.
Like Chris Angel literally looks like he rated Hot Topic. Like David Copperfield, I'm convinced owns one shirt. But it's like we're not walking around in top hats and cloaks with dubs in our sleeves. And, granted, I really would like some of the jewelry that they had showed off back in that day, but it's different now.
Yeah, you can do a lot with a tracksuit and a smile.
You really can. You really can. Ask Richard Simmons.
That's a whole nother show, and that's a different type of magic.
I'm not saying anything bad about it, but when did you ever see Richard Simmons not wearing a tank top?
I'm just saying we can't ask him because he's passed on. I was gonna.
Oh yeah, that's true, huh?
Different type of magic.
Oh. Yeah. All right. Well, don't ask Richard Simmons. Let's just use him as an example then. I mean, hey, he always had a smile on his face. He was always positive, and he never wore a suit ever.
Ever.
I guarantee you they buried him in a tracksuit. I'll guarantee you.
I hope so. And parachute
Dude,
shorts.
come on. We love Richard Simmons. Richard Simmons was a little pinnacle of positivity, man.
He was.
Every
Like,
day.
you ever get the chance to watch there's a video on YouTube. So, there was like a Hollywood tour, and they stop in front of his house. And he literally went outside and spent 20 minutes talking to every single person.
That's awesome.
And like didn't ask for money, wasn't an inconvenience. Like, he enjoyed it. And I'm sitting there going, dude, every celebrity needs to be like that, because
Right.
especially with all of the stuff coming out about celebrities now, and the fact of like all they care about's their money and their parties, and wondering if he did it. But if everybody was like happier and more positive and more like approachable, Hollywood would be a different place, and like it'd be so much easier to get famous. I hate to say it.
I agree with what you said, but I think what's being promoted is these evil people. I think there's some great celebrities that go out there for their fans, that do put in, that you do see the good thing, but it's not marketable. They want to always market the evil, which is sad.
I agree.
Well, up until a point, because as much as you want to look, being a musician and being a musician that's only at a certain level, obviously I want to hate on Taylor Swift as much as humanly possible, but some of the stuff that she has done in every single time
really great.
she goes into is absolutely incredible. Some of the same thing with LeBron. LeBron has done so much.
I agree.
As much as he might have an opinion that I might not agree with, he has put money down on it. He's done what's necessary. And these people, we hear about it. We just don't hear about it as often as we hear about.
That's what I'm trying to get. Yeah, that's what
the thousands of gallons of baby oil.
Yeah, well, let me jump in on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Haley Welch, the Hawk Tuah girl, right?
Yeah.
I am sick and tired of seeing her on my Instagram.
Does not need to be famous.
Right.
At all.
But she's taking the money that she's being given to do all of these like promo events and celebrity events, and she's donating it to animal shelters, and she's not hiding it.
I'm okay with that.
So she could be on my Instagram all day, every day. I know that she's doing a good thing with the fame that she's been given.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who are like that, but you are absolutely right. They're not being promoted because it's not a moneymaker.
Right.
Yeah. And you are a moneymaker. You know what I'm saying? You are a moneymaker. You do believe in yourself, and it takes a lot of courage to do what you do, because I don't really see a lot of magicians, if I can barely speak. I'm very sorry about that.
You're good.
For what they need to do.
Well, I mean, there is that saying. There is that saying from a very, very well-known guy. You'll know who he is. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
True.
Yeah. No, that's very true. And that's when you are in entertainment, when you are in art, because I look at what you do as art. It's just the way that my brain works. When you have a career in the arts, it really is that investing in your own brand and investing in yourself and making sure that you're taking that money and putting it towards the merch, or making sure you put it towards to make sure that you have the proper amount of nutrition for that particular tour and those different aspects of it.
It's very true.
So what is the next? Will there be another tour? Or will there be did your car just die?
No, my light just decided to turn off.
Okay.
There you go.
I was like, oh no, oh my goodness, he killed his battery on this interview.
No, trust me, the battery is probably the best thing in this car. So what's next? So I came up with an idea before I went out on the tour. And I'm still ironing out the details and everything, and I'm still trying to figure out logistics and all of that, but I'm working on a television show. Nice. And it's going to be a combination of a magic special and diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Okay.
So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going around to different breweries, and I'm going to be showcasing them, the beers that they make, the process that goes into it. I'll be interviewing the staff, seeing what makes them different, a standout from other breweries in the area. And then in between all of that, I'm going to be doing magic at those breweries and getting genuine reactions from the crew and from the guests that are there. And I really think that this could be something that hits because it's something that, brewery culture is a huge thing right now, and I don't think people realize it. There's 198 breweries in Connecticut alone.
Wow.
And and Massachusetts has like double of that, and I can't imagine what it's like out in California or in Texas or Los Angeles, or not Los Angeles, Las Vegas, or New Orleans, the bigger cities with bigger populations. But brewery culture is an actual thing that has gotten popular over the last couple of years, and I'm really thinking that if I capitalize on that, I can come up with something that would have a genuine interest with the masses. And I mean, who doesn't like watching a good magic trick? But at the same time, food shows are so popular right now, it's unbelievable. Yeah. So why not combine the two? So I'm working on I got a camera crew. I just have to work on getting scheduling and figure out where I'll be on specific dates. But when it's done, I'm going to pitch it to Netflix.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. I wouldn't just pitch it to Netflix. Check Vice as well. I think Vice is
good. Yeah,
Vice,
that would take that.
Hulu, Netflix, YouTube Plus, or Premium. Really anything. Like I was even thinking like Fubo or Tubi. Just something that I could get onto people's screens. But it's probably not going to be done until like next fall, probably next fall or next winter.
Right.
And I can't really say too much about like where I'll be going and who will be in it, because I do have plans of like having guests and stuff.
Right.
So, but I can't talk about that.
No, of course not. Of course not. You can only, like any trick, like any aspect, you can only give the right amount of information that's necessary for the particular time.
You can't break kayfabe.
Right. Exactly.
Can't break kayfabe.
Now that we have a couple minutes into this segment and we're doing fantastic. How about a trick?
Yeah. What are we at for time right now?
We got about like 12 minutes left. I was going to say
okay, perfect.
But you can go right ahead.
I got two awesome things that I want to do for you. The first one actually has this deck of cards that I've been shuffling the entire time. So Preston, I'll tell you what. Why don't you say stop for me? I'll look this way so I can't see. All right.
Okay. Stop.
All right, cool. So we're going to take a look at this card right here. Whatever that card is, I want you to memorize it. If just make sure that you can see it. All right.
Absolutely.
We're gonna put it back into the deck. I'll give the deck a nice little shuffle. I'll try to make sure this is in full view.
Okay.
All right. But you can see it's getting mixed and all of that. Right. And it's hard to do while you're sitting behind a steering wheel. Right? But think of your card for me, okay? So if I were to go like this, you can see how all of the cards are here, right? But if I were to go like this and just reach in and pull one out, there's the 5 of diamonds. Now, here's the cool thing, though, right? So this time, easy. I want you to say stop. I'm going to reveal this in a different way, okay? Actually, you know what? Yeah. We'll do it this way. Easy. Say stop whenever you want.
Stop.
All right. So again, we're going to take a look at this card right here. If it's the 5 of diamonds, tell me to do it again.
It's not. So that's
okay,
fine.
Cool. So again, I'll try to make this in full view at all times, but I want to show you something that I have with me. This right here is a little card frame, and you could see kind of right through it, like a little bit of there we go.
Yeah.
But basically a card goes in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a random card. I'm going to put it right here just like this and make sure that it's nice all squared up and everything. Now, can you guys see that card right there? You guys see the 5 of hearts?
Yes.
Obviously, that's not your card, right?
Nope.
But I want you to really focus on it. What happens is when you focus on it, you'll actually see that the 5 will, in fact, turn.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. You want to know what's even hysterical is because as you're doing this, obviously it hits the ace of spades and automatically it clicks into the Motorhead song. You know what I'm saying? All these things are like, of course it lands on the ace of spades. It's the death card. So, let's go.
So we'll try this one too. I'm breaking out a different deck of cards.
Okay.
So this right here, this blue card is actually a prediction, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here in my neck. All right. So I've got it's a red back deck. You can see that they're all different red back cards. And we've, they're all different cards in here. So what Preston, what I want you to do is name a number for me between 10 and 20.
16.
16. So watch this. Ready? I'm going to do it one at a time. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, to make this even more random, what I'll do is I'll take 1 and 6 and add them together. So that'll be 7. So now we'll just count down 7 cards. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we're at this card. So you see this card right here, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put all of this stuff away. As a matter of fact, I don't really need it. But the cool thing about this card, and I mean, I got the deck right here and everything. You could have literally picked any one of the cards. The cool thing is that I've had this card sitting here in my neck the entire time. The interesting thing is that it's a 2 of diamonds.
Yes.
But you'll notice that this is a blue-backed card, right?
Right.
So is this one.
Wow.
And then the craziest thing about it is that all of these cards are all red-backed cards, right?
Right.
But the thing is that there's nothing printed on the front of them.
WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made. Easy Blues.
Whew.
And that was wild.
Thank you. I'll admit I've had that trick for years, and I finally found it sitting in the back of an old bureau that I've got where I keep like extra magic tricks. And I'm like, where has this thing been? I want to do this. And I actually did it at a brewery the other night, and people went nuts. So I'm like, this is a staple now. I'm keeping this trick.
No, it's a phenomenal trick, and it's great how it all progresses through, and you are telling these stories that happen. I'm not. You're a wrestling fan. Did you have the opportunity to watch Heels?
No, I didn't.
Oh, if you have the opportunity, it's something I just watched both seasons. It was some of the best storytelling I've seen in a long time in any type of format. And the fact that it's dealing with independent wrestling, I think is really fantastic. Definitely want to take a look at that because it has a lot to do with just no matter what you have to sell, as long as the story is there.
Right.
That is the most important thing. And I love that really resonates with your act itself. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were talking about it last time. Wrestling has a lot of influence on my show and on my persona.
No.
So, I mean, I've got a whole Bray Wyatt tribute at the end of my show. And it's funny because not everybody sees it, but the ones that do, they know.
Yeah. That's one of those keys. If you when you're in the club that gets it, you get it, and you get it.
Yeah, and it makes it so much better.
All right.
I did Steiner math in one of my shows.
I need to hear this. It came at the right time. I need to hear this.
All right. Before we get to the Steiner math, though, I did hear that this last tour, there was something about a fish.
Oh yeah, I got to tell you the fish story. Okay.
Okay.
So I was on my way back from Vermont, and I'm talking like when I say Vermont, I mean like I could have hit a golf ball to Canada.
Nice.
I'm coming back. I'm on a side road. The road's dark. It's a little misty. There's a river on the side of me. It's literally the scenario for a horror movie. It was perfect. So I'm driving. I'm the only one on the road. It's about 11 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden a fish falls from the sky and lands in front of my car. And I'm looking around like, what did they give me in that beer? This is nuts. So I pull over. I stop. I get out of the car. Yeah, it turns out that a floppy little trout fish splattered all over the freaking road. Turns out a hawk must have come through, grabbed the fish out of the river that was next to me on the road, flew up about 400 or 500 feet, decided, yeah, I'm not hungry anymore, and then just dropped the fish, and it landed in front of me.
Yo.
But yeah, in Vermont, fish fall from the sky.
That gives new meaning to the word. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a day.
Yeah. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Teach a hawk to drop fish, the man doesn't have to learn.
Yeah, word. Nothing he's got to do. He's got to stand there with his arms out.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah,
actually-
that was a couple of the funny things that happened, during the tour and everything. And again, that's also going to be in the book as well, because I got a couple of memories and stuff. One of my beers exploding while I was on stage, just randomly. It was in a can. It was in a hot room, and all of a sudden, it just goes, and I'm like, ta-da! And people just started laughing. And there was an old lady who comes up after the show. She's like, "How did you make the beer can disappear?" I'm like, "I don't know." So, but yeah, it was fun. There was a lot of awesome stuff on there, and I'm really looking forward to getting this thing published.
No, that's awesome. But now let's pique Preston's interest. We have moments to tell us about how Steiner math played into your tricks.
Yeah, I
I do
forgot
a
about
trick.
the Steiner math. The beer thing was wild, but go ahead with the Steiner math.
I do a trick with a nail inside of bags. And it's like, you ever see that trick where they stab their hand on the bags and it's got the knife in it?
Yeah.
Right.
So I get down to 3 of them left, and I tell the person on stage, I'm like, "Listen, I want to tell you, to ease your mind a little bit." I'm actually getting into full patter right now. To ease your mind, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You see, if you were doing this with any other person, you'd have a 50% chance of getting a nail in my foot because I step on him. Mm-hmm. I'm like, but I'm not, I'm a magician and I'm not normal. So we have a 33 1/3 chance at best of stepping on that nail. But you want to add the third bag into the mix, our chances drastic go down. You see, hold on. You see, it's sacrifice. Yeah. You want to add Kurt Angle into the mix, your chances of winning drastic go down. You see, right now, there's a nail in one of those bags, which means we have a 33 1/3% chance of getting that in my foot. But I, being as good as I am, I have a 66 2/3%, right? But if you were to take the 50% chance, or no, I'm sorry. Wow, yeah, I'm flubbing it right now. But if you can imagine, I do the whole Steiner math thing because I have to watch a video like once or twice. I do the whole Steiner math thing, if you were to take the 50% chance minus my 33 1/3%, you got an 8 1/3 chance of stepping on this nail. But if we were to take the 66 2/3 plus the 75% chance, if we were to do this one-on-one, you have a 141 2/3% chance of me not stepping on that nail. See, the numbers don't lie, and they would spell disaster for you if you were to do this and I step on a nail or I step on a bag that doesn't have a nail in it. But I promise you, during the shows, it is more like solidified. It's more, I'm not stopping and thinking about it because I do watch it like once or twice just to make sure that I remember what he says.
Of course.
But yeah, you add Kurt Angle into the mix, then your chances of winning drastic go down. What can I say?
Sadly, we got to go down too.
I was just about to say I got to get going.
Time is wrapping up on the show. We love you. This last time is yours. Please plug yourself.
It was so much fun being on here. I would love to be on here more often. I feel like once isn't enough. You guys do an incredible show. You guys put a lot of work into this. I really like the flow. I really like just the laid backness. This is one of my favorite podcasts that I think I've done in a long time, and I'd really like to continue this. If you guys ever need a magician for anything, go to my website, www.chrislangelmagic.com. That's all I'm going to say for now.
You heard it. Chris Lengyel, thank you so much for being a part of this program. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you so much for having me. I actually got to get going.
Nah, it's all good. Preston, Easy Blues, WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know.